Okay, good morning. It's 10:03. We'll call this meeting of Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone please rise.
Put my phone on silent, Judge.
This time I'd like to call on Commissioner Mark Beecham to give the invocation.
Pray with me, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you humbled this morning in your presence, Lord. And just thank you for the opportunity to serve our community, Lord. Lord, I pray that you would give us wisdom to make the right decisions, the decisions that you would have us to make to lead this county. Lord, we pray for our nation and the leaders of our nation, Lord, that they would lead us in your ways also, Lord. Lord, we pray for our law enforcement and our first responders around and our servicemen, Lord, who are out defending us and keeping us safe, Lord, that you would be with them and keep them safe. Lord, we do say a special prayer for Amisha Rojas and her family, Lord. Our county family's feeling a loss this week, Lord. Lord, I just pray that you would be with them this time. Lord, just bless us and keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge, please.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take seats, please. Okay. I'd ask the court to take action on the consent agenda. I would like to move item number 8 down to general business. Gentlemen, it's going to be a motion, or?
Yeah, I would make the motion that we approve consent agenda with moving item 8 to general.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second with discussion.
Okay. What's discussion on second?
Item number 6. We could have purchased those outright,
Well, that's true.
and next time, we won't rent them if something happens like that.
You know, can I address?
Yes, sir, please.
You know,
You're fine from there.
okay, I think we decided these work.
Yes.
We sent an email to them. I sent an email to Commissioner Harvey, Commissioner Mahler, hoping to reach out to them. I haven't heard back from. I talked to the one. He said his partner would be the one to make the decision.
Yeah, it's a no.
It's a no. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they reached out to you or not. So.
Yeah, when I got your email, I called them.
Okay. Thank you.
Lesson learned, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, but the bigger lesson learned, I hope, is next time we call to rent anything, we ask what it costs beforehand, and that was not done in that process. And so,
How long did we keep those?
We had them over a month.
yeah. Okay. It's hard to put that toothpaste back in the tube.
It is.
Okay, anything else, sir?
That's the only comment I really have.
All right. Okay, any other comments or questions on the consent agenda items? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, item number 8 was a motion to file United Rentals invoices 157375518-001.002 and 003 in the amount of $3,962 each, with an invoice representing 4 weeks of a Freightliner M2 water truck rental for a total amount of $11,888.55 to be paid from 224-240 XXS line of it. Why did we rent a water truck? How many of those do we have?
I have two.
We used it on chip sealing,
Yeah.
but that was just because there was tied up everywhere else. We don't have one.
Have you already done this, or is this something you want to do?
No, it's
Oh, it's already done?
Yeah.
done, which,
We used it this summer.
Well, Jeff,
Correct,
we have a big transport, and you know, when we're building roads, we're building them together. Anytime you need a water truck.
Well, yeah, but they tried. We only did this as a last resort. And then we had trouble, got rescheduled. I forget what the deal was, but yeah, we exhausted everybody on,
Nobody ever asked me to borrow the water truck.
well, it was Donald, I'm sure. But
I just say, if y'all don't talk to each other in the future, that,
Yeah, I could have made that happen for you. I
My
mean,
water truck's been sitting at Annex for most of the summer.
but,
I'll get clarification from Pete, but I
Well,
know
that's
that because that was our first line of trying to do it, but because we didn't have clear lines on the schedule, I think everybody anticipated needing use of theirs. But we kept this.
that's when we was building Lock Road. That's when we needed all that water. Yeah. And we had all people out there hauling for you and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they,
We did have your tank for a while, I know. We had to use that. But, you know, I still go back, I can't buy a truck and maintain it for this kind of money at all. I used it all summer long, and if I'd have bought one, I'd at least be spending 25 grand a year trying to, and then the second year, the rats chewed the wires out from under it and won't start, so.
yeah. Found some spray, Judge.
okay, hang on, let's finish this item.
Okay.
Is that part of this item?
Well, no,
It relates.
it relates to the wiring.
Oh, okay. So-
He brought that up and
Oh,
I remembered
okay.
it.
All right. Can we have a motion then to approve that item as stated?
So moved.
Thanks,
And
sir.
second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve the item. Anyone else want to make any comment or question on that?
Well, I did have a question that y'all may know about. I noticed yesterday at and we leased one for a short period of time at the landfill, but the earth movers that pivot, underneath themselves that have the,
Uh-huh.
there was a water tank that came into the diesel station yesterday. It was a big tanker. It's pulled with that yellow iron pivot tractor, that's up here. Tremendous amount of water. I mean, are those surplus items ever? I mean, do you think
That would be a good
that's-
question for Donald. He kind of watches that surplus stuff down there, and apparently there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, could you move that? And, I mean, you could road it, I guess, and,
Probably the closest place would be the Metroplex, and that would be a long way. But remember that removable gooseneck trailer that we bought?
yeah, no, I'm talking about from job to job, if water.
Oh, in town?
Heavy water stuff in the county. You can just drive it where you need to, or does it have to be on,
You can overfill it. You can get too heavy. But,
okay,
I mean, if it's,
weight-wise?
Yeah.
yeah, it tears up our roads.
Okay.
That's scales.
I
Yeah, we
just
got
wonder
scale.
if Garland, might even see those on the program or something.
not
That's
sure.
just, when we're having to suck water, Lee, like, y'all brought us that tanker and Jerry brought a tanker and we sucked water where we had to eliminate driving for long distances. this is something that moves a lot of water, but I never thought about the weight
Yeah.
dilemma.
Because those are those single axle with those big tires
The
on 'em?
humongous tires,
Yeah.
Judge, bigger than me, but they're single axle.
Yeah, you could haul it empty, but it kind of defeats your purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
The best thing to do is get something that you can utilize, and that's about a 4,000 gallon capacity, because that puts you right at your weight limit.
Is that what, similar to like a fuel hauling tanker?
It is.
That'd be
It's
32,000.
designed different, but it's similar.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. It's just a
I just,
transport.
I saw that yesterday and it made me wonder about it.
All right, Judge, you got me going now.
Oh, no. Okay, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. All right. It's time I'd like to call it, make notice that
You were close.
it's 8 pounds a gallon.
8.33. Oh, don't go there. And now you're talking about something you don't know about. Finally.
Always, and I think, I hate to admit this, but you're close.
Oh, I'm right. That was my job for a long time.
I always used 8 pounds to do it in my head instead of the 833. But I hadn't thought of that in a long time, but you are right. Okay. Let's see, this morning, I'm going to run through this. Many of y'all have heard this, and I'm going to share a small joke. It's probably going to be the best part of this presentation, but since we don't have a lot of the public, everybody's here, you've been through this. We have one public member, and I bet she'll catch on pretty fast to this, but John Sharp was on his way to South Texas when he was a state representative, and he was going down there. He was on the Ag Committee, and so he was going to go down there and talk about brucellosis disease, and he's expecting there to be several hundred people in this auditorium. And as he's driving down, he notices water standing in the bar ditches, trees down, telephone poles down, and things. He's thinking, they must have had some real weather here last night. He drives up to the auditorium where he's supposed to present it, and there's about 4 pickups and 3 cars and a couple of agriculture extension service vehicles. And so he walks in, and there's maybe 20 people there. Well, he had an hour-and-a-half presentation, and he thought, well, I'll cut this down a little bit. So he speaks to him for only an hour, and then he says, are there any questions? This one old, about 90-year-old farmer rancher holds his hand up, and he says, yes, sir. He said, Mr. Sharp, he said, I feed cattle all the time in the winter. And he said, when I'm driving up to them, and there's only 6 of them standing there, I don't unload that whole semi on them. He said, boy, you could have said that in a whole lot less time. So I'm going to try to straight down and give you some of the fluff, and certainly be willing to answer any questions from anyone about the items. The best thing that happened to us, some of the plans we made and did for 2017 worked. And you don't always know that, but we actually finished for the first time in several years with a significant surplus of around $2 million. And you say, wow, great, we ought to be able to do something with that. Well, but if you look at our fund balances, that didn't replace what had been lost over the last 6 years. But it made a significant change in that trend. That then allowed us to look at, if we're taxing the right amount of money, we're bringing in the right amount of income. The other thing that was done, we changed some of our fee schedules, and that worked very well also. And we'll really see most of the fruit of that when we know how we came out on this year. Do that. The other thing that we did that I want to thank Commissioner Watts for bringing to us is we made a significant change in our health care plan. And that yielded considerable savings, and yet by changing the deductibles, we didn't hurt the plan members, because we instituted a health reimbursement account program, and that allows people actually probably to come out better than they had before, because they were responsible for their deductible. But we reinvested that savings into the participants in the program, which were employees and some family members. The other thing that helped us go into this budget planning was a significant increase in the tax base. It's the largest growth we've had in probably the last 5 years. That allowed us to see a better rate of return. We're looking at some things that money, that increase plus some of those savings are going to go into that we don't control. Indigent health care, indigent defense, jail expense, and one of the major programs we're on is a complete upgrade of the HVAC systems in the courthouse and in the Scott Street Annex. Those will produce a utility savings, but they also take a fair amount of investment. Plus, the utility savings will be used to pay the company back that's actually paying for this as part of that investment strategy. But it keeps us from going and borrowing or unnecessarily possibly depleting our reserve funds. The other things we're looking at is some renovation to the district clerk's office, to the tax assessor collector, to that first floor Scott Street Annex area, and even some additional. Those are in that capital improvements project in the permanent improvement fund. We're also, this year, for the first time in 4 years, we're able to grant a pay increase at the rate of $1,000 a person. The departments were allowed latitude in dividing that up, and did some things with that we hope will be more positive in the retention of good personnel. And we added 5 additional jailers under the Fund 409, so that's now 10 positions in that, and you all are close to, well, okay, it's any given day, but at least it gives you the latitude to have those positions so you can hire the people and have them instead of them waiting for a vacancy. If you've got it, if you're lucky enough to be 100% off it. We did budget that amount of money to cover that. We published a notice of the tax rate. We put in there in that notice the maximum amount. That's not where we're headed, but given that that ad cost us less than $1,000 last year, same ad, different numbers in it, is $1,500 this year in the same newspaper. We elected to put it into Wichita Falls Times Record News, broader coverage. We could legally, and most of our legal notices go in the Electra paper because it's the lowest advertising cost. But we felt like when we were proposing a tax increase, we needed to be fair and make sure it was in the largest paper of circulation. So, but the other would have met the law. And unless we can get some change in the paper's attitude, then this last year I'll recommend we do that. But let's try to do more publicity that doesn't cost to let people know there's going to be an increase if
Facebook.
That happens. Facebook, yeah, I'm pretty sure we make Facebook after today anyhow. But the other thing we did in 1954, and probably Willie and I are the only ones in here that know about 1954, was we had an election for an optional road and bridge tax. It passed in Wichita County. It allows up to 15 cents of tax. And you think, well, okay, what does that do for us? That is outside of the 80-cent constitutional cap on county taxes. So we took where we'd been transferring about $800,000 or so out of the general fund into road and bridge. We're now going to use $0.50 of tax to recoup that $800,000 and a little bit more to try to balance out some of the growth of expense in road and bridge. But it still counts as an overall tax increase. The best news that I can probably offer anybody is that even with that, we actually will come out at the, I think it's 0.00202 less tax rate than last year because of the increased values and all. So will people see an increase in their taxes? If their property value went up, then they're going to pay more taxes. If their property value stayed the same, they'll pay approximately the same amount of taxes they did the year before. If it went down, you're going to pay less. But we feel like this was a fairly well-balanced presented budget. It still counts on reserve funds to be used to balance it. And the reason we do that is we can't limit the number of people in jail. We can't limit the number of people that get indigent health care, and we can't limit the number of people that get indigent defense. And in the state's wisdom for the biennium, they cut their reimbursement to us by 7% for indigent defense. And last year was the first year since 2001 that counties saw a slight dip in that. It'd be nice to see if that trend remained, but I think it's an anomaly at this time because crime certainly doesn't seem to be waning a great deal. The budget, the general fund budget, will tax for a total amount with transfers or reserves. Our gross budget will be $63,111,246, and we believe that will meet the needs of the county. Any questions? Don't make that too easy.
What is our revenue?
The tax revenue is $43,697,640.
So is that $20 million we're leaning on reserves?
Is other income, and then transfers. Other income is $9,280,000, and reserve transfers is $10,133,473, which is about normal.
But people understand that we do have income other than taxes.
Yes.
$9 million worth.
$9 million is grants, fines, fees.
And the rest of that is basically contingency money, stuff that we budget for. If we need it, we have it. Does not mean that we're going to spend $63 million.
No. And the good, that gives us the ability to meet those expenses we can't
Foresee.
Well, we can't control. And that sounds ridiculous to say as a budgeting body, but we cannot control those. Unlike the state that says they're not going to take anybody else out of the state hospital, we're going to keep them. Unlike the state prison system that says we're full today, you can't send them. Unlike the state prison system that requires us to transfer female prisoners to them, you know, it's just a one-sided game. All right, no questions? Then we'll move on. The public hearing is closed. We'll continue with regular business. Next item is to review and approve the regular bills for payment. We went through those on Friday.
Judge, I'd make a motion that we pay our bills as presented.
I do have one that I've pulled out.
Oh, okay.
I've made a couple of phone calls this morning and still have not heard back from them. So
Which one's that?
it was the one for the jail where had a security company come in and replace components on the console. It shows that they replaced the camera, but
Oh, yeah.
from what we've been able to determine, their length of stay was not 11 hours as they charged. It was more like less than an hour.
That's the one, yeah. We talked about that Friday.
So I'm going to hold this out until I can get in touch
Okay.
with Argyle Security.
Do y'all remember those folks coming and working? And don't we typically use
C9?
CNI?
No, on this panel.
It's a tricky panel or something different about it?
It's proprietary to them. I mean, that's why we have to use them. That was the issue with, they've recently gone bankrupt, and so we're now having to use a different company that bought out their software, but it's proprietary. So if you want work done on it, you have to use them.
I see.
We're kind of hostage. So you can't call Argyle because they're no longer in business.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, they answered the phone. They just
Well, they wouldn't answer the phone when Lisa kept trying to call them.
they just wouldn't. The person that was supposed to does the billing was not in. So.
Yeah.
Well, they'll call when they don't get their check.
Well, what I'm disputing is the 11 hours on-site labor charge that they That's what they show. On-site labor charge of 11 hours and travel charge of 18 hours travel.
They come from San Antonio,
Yeah.
right? How many came?
That's 6.5 hour drive.
So
Yeah, it shouldn't have been that long.
14 hours maximum
Yeah.
on that. So I'm pulling it until I can get back in touch with you.
Okay.
What happens, Meredith, like you have an agreement, we have an exclusive with this company, and then they go, did they go out of business or just file bankruptcy?
Their lender forced them into bankruptcy. They had millions, something like $16 million of debt. They tried to sell the company, it wouldn't sell. They tried to get additional financing even from overseas, couldn't do it. And so the lender finally forced them into bankruptcy, and they're liquidating the company. One of those pieces that was liquidated was the software that runs these control panels. And a company also out of San Antonio has purchased it and agreed to do all of the work for the extension of our contract. I contacted the bankruptcy attorneys, and Lisa in the meantime was trying to get hold of the new company, and they've now reached out to us and provided us a pricing sheet and everything, but it's essentially the same. You know, they're gonna charge for travel, they're gonna charge for their time, they're gonna, as long as it's reasonable.
Yeah, I think the time,
Right.
I understand they need to make money and
Yeah,
charge for their
that
time.
company is defunct. I mean, everything I read in the bankruptcy shows that they are on the verge of financial collapse, so they are liquidating.
They showed up at our facility according to our cameras at, 2:30, and we're gone by 3.
And they're charging for
11 hours.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Let
if
me
they
know if you-
travel
Well, not if
times,
they charge you travel time.
Well, they charge 18 hours travel time on top.
On top of the 11 hours.
Oh, okay.
18 hours travel time?
From San
18 hour
Antonio.
travel time, yes,
Well, it
sir.
must have been a 2 martini lunch they had.
Yeah,
on
18, travel charges 18 units of travel at $75 a unit. On-site labor charge, 11 units at $125.
So what's a unit?
27.25 was their total on labor and travel, and $355 in parts.
So maybe a unit's a half hour? Doesn't say an hour, it says a unit.
Well,
Yeah.
quantity, it doesn't say, it's just quantity, 11. I'm assuming hours,
It's a
Eleven
unit,
at $75 an hour.
a unit,
$75
a unit, not an hour.
quantity, 18
units.
18 unit price of $75 per.
Okay.
So,
Well, let me know if you have trouble, and I'll try to reach out maybe to the bankruptcy attorneys and
okay.
find out who in the company.
I think that's just an
would dispute
excessive-
charge.
A very excessive charge, particularly that we showed here less than an hour.
Well, they need the money, Mark.
Yeah, they did.
They need it, they need it bad.
They definitely need it, but they're not gonna make it over.
But I didn't know, Meredith, that they didn't have to come back if the agreement allowed for them to sell without coming through us to approve.
Some
it.
contracts do, this one, I don't know that we had an official contract like that.
Oh.
We bought the equipment and it came with these are your service
I
prices.
see.
It wasn't really a true contract.
Okay.
We do try to put in most of our contracts that there'll be no assignment without our permission. But in the case of a bankruptcy, you don't have much choice.
No, not unless
We're
we.
lucky that somebody bought it and is willing to service it.
Right.
Because if not, we would just be out of luck for the next 2
Right.
years until we get a new facility. Or have to buy a brand new panel for our old jail, which would be,
We can go to Best Buy and get some circuits and stuff, and I think Will and Lisa
Okay,
can fix
That's
it.
not a joke. Radio Shack was our main.
But that's gone.
Yeah, I know. We didn't buy enough, I guess. Okay, any other comments on those items? We have a motion by Commissioner Watts, a second by Commissioner Beecham. All in favor of paying the bills, except for the Argyle bill, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 3 is discuss, consider take action to approve an estimate by Stewart and Stevenson dated August 28, 2018, in the amount of $2,698 to replace the remaining 11 injector seals, to stop fuel leaks, and to replace the leaking fuel pump with an exchange fuel pump in the 620 kW CAT generator to be paid out of 10511.4454 regular and maintenance, repair and maintenance, building equipment to a line determined by the county auditor. Lieutenant Spiegel,
Yes, sir.
yeah, anything to add to that?
No, just mean it has to be done.
Yeah,
I mean, in theory, you can turn it on and it ain't gonna blow up, but doesn't mean you should.
no,
No, you need to fix it.
it needs to be fixed.
No, I'm sorry. Never mind. You can't turn it on right now because we had to send the starter off yesterday to get fixed again. But
Can we crank it?
no, we tried that last time. There was no crank.
When you say you sent the starter off, where did you send it?
To Allie, which is on the way back right now. They said they'll eat the cost. Allie said they'll eat their cost.
Yeah, well, it's just, we just got it 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, they're pretty good. Ally,
They are
pretty
good.
Yeah.
Barry at Atex is also
Did-
pretty reliable.
We talked about this before, and I realized they can remote start that. But is anybody going out there prior to it being started and just,
Who can remote? Oh, you're talking. Sorry. Okay.
for the generator, you can remote start it? But are we going out there, it's once a week, isn't it, that it's run?
Twice a week.
Twice a week. Okay. But either of those times, does anybody go out there at the supervisory level or something that could go out
At the
there?
time of the test.
Yeah,
Before the test.
before the
That's what I
test.
mean, just at the time of the test, anybody checking? No, sir. What we settled on was that our maintenance department or our maintenance officers would go out there and check on it weekly, every
Okay.
single week, and so that's what they've been doing.
So that,
In my reports, I send that ticket. It says generator on it, or it says gen on it. So I mean, it's being inspected once a week, which is
Good.
great.
Great.
Loads more than it ever
yeah,
was checked before.
no, okay.
And that's
Somebody-
all it is. It's just a check. And so that I'm also sending that to Bobby Allen, the report, so he can review it. If there's anything on there for repairs that he can handle, then he takes care of it.
But the check is you're pulling the dipstick, and you're taking the radiator cap off, and you're making sure everything's good.
Yes.
Good.
So that's being done, but I mean that's nothing we can do about a starter.
No, that's wonderful that you're doing that.
Yeah, that's all we were concerned. After that, then it becomes a maintenance problem at either our level or at the
Yes, at the
service
time it was
level.
addressed, that's when we addressed it. And
Okay.
We've been doing it ever since.
All right.
Are your maintenance people pulling the starter off? It's just 3 bolts in it.
Well, I don't know how many bolts are in it, but I don't know. I don't know what's pulling it. We're having.
It's so basic you could. If it goes out, you take 3 bolts out, take it to Allie's, have it redone, put it back on, 3 bolts. It's not a big deal. So
I mean, that'd save a
It's building
service cost.
maintenance.
Yeah, they ought to be able to do that.
it's real simple.
Compared to the other stuff they do, it's
Yeah.
very simple.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just, I mean, we have 2 departments. I mean, building maintenance can pull it also.
yeah.
Yeah. Like Bobby Howe.
Any one of all of them could do it. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know if you knew what it,
I mean, I've
Pertain
pulled starters
to-
off of vehicles, and I know it takes 3 bolts or so.
yeah.
So.
So,
Okay.
just a thought. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
Cool. Mine is too.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the item as requested. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Do we have any public comments, anyone? Elected officials, department heads, anybody? Okay, Commissioner Beecham,
I have nothing, Judge.
Commissioner Harvey.
I am wore out.
You look-
I've absolutely had a blast this weekend, opening weekend of dove season. A lot of hunters up from Louisiana and the Beaumont area. We have eaten like kings, and everybody was safe. I don't know, it was just a lot of fun. It's a good
Well, that
time of year. It's
includes
just
a lot of
too
veterans,
hot.
doesn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
it's just too hot. I just wish it was about 70 degrees or 65 degrees.
Well, then
But,
the dove would be going south.
Well, I know, but I'd be cooler when I'm cooking. So, anyway, it was a really good time. Had good spirit weekend and Labor Day weekend. Saw the flags covering Burke Burnett. Our Rotary Club there in Burke has a fundraiser they do every year. If you pay $25, they'll put an American flag on your curb 6 times a year. And most people in Burke do it.
It's throughout the county, all over the close.
You drive through Burke Burnett, up and down those residential streets, there's a flag in every front yard, and it's just beautiful to see that.
Yes.
Very impressive. I appreciate all the hard work that they put in doing that. You get up, it's gone, or you get up, it's there. When you get up the next morning, it's gone. They must work all night doing that, picking up those flags. But anyway, if you get a chance, drive through Burke Burnett on any one of those days, you'll get a good feeling. It's pretty cool. That's it.
Commissioner Watts?
Not much going on. I guess we're praying this rain comes on in. We're trying to get down some rock on Crone and Moeller out there, and Rex had done us a great job in widening some of those back out and reclaiming some shoulder that was a little bit, I wouldn't say risky, but just needed some talent on it. Rex was able to provide that for us, so we're working on that right now to try to get that come together, and we'll be mowing then, trying to finish up some. I've noticed that we've had we've had good, strong grass growth. I'm getting a little bit of fall weed. Lee, are you seeing that at all coming back on?
I have not paid attention to that. No, need to go look.
It's not Johnson grass. It's you would have to tell me what it is. It's one I'm not used to.
Was it ragweed?
It's a big weed. It's pretty.
If you let it go, get the stalk on it like that? Yeah.
So I'm seeing some of that. I just didn't know how to address it or what the best thing to do is. And
put a blade to it. Go mow.
But that's all I have, Judge.
All right, good enough. We do have the Child Care Incorporated has reached 100 years. It's just located right over here across, actually back that way. Near the courthouse. They've been in business 100 years. They are one of the quality programs. They have one of the highest ratings for the type of programming. They're not just providing babysitting. They have very active programs to engage children and parents in developing a better family process and a better educational process to help children be school ready when they leave their preschool programs there. So that'll be today at 4 p.m. and then next week they're actually having a luncheon to celebrate that 100 years. And trying to see, there was something else I was thinking. Oh, the Republican headquarters has their opening for their location on Kemp Street at 4 o'clock on Friday. And
4 o'clock on?
I'm not on Friday. I'm sorry, on
Tomorrow.
Jeff and I will be cooking a hot dog.
yeah, I'm sorry, it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday. There we go. That's better.
Oh. That's easy.
Okay. That's all I had down.
Judge, I have one.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Will.
The jail and the sheriff's department had an unexpected death to one of our jailers over the weekend. We asked that the court keep our family in prayers for the funeral and stuff. We'll let you know when it is.
Good. Please do. Yeah, we mentioned her and her family in the prayer this morning. Mr. Beecham did. You weren't here yet, but yeah. Okay. Anything else anybody thought of? Okay. As posted on it, we're going into closed session for a briefing and discussion with Wichita County Criminal District Attorney's Office regarding claims filed by Esther Grant, Stephanie Strader, and Martha Shepard. This meeting is closed pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Consultation with attorney. And a second one, briefing and discussion with Wichita County Criminal District Attorney's Office regarding an EEOC charge filed by Ted Craig. This meeting is closed pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Consultation with attorney. is 10:43, and I'd ask everyone to leave the courtroom.